I got dragged into looking at, well, not dragged into, but I got sucked into looking at the cure for the thing that they want you to take, and some of the components of it. You know, components that most of us knew were there from the beginning. But it brought me over to Rwanda, and what a rabbit hole that is. It glows from fucking space. If you could go into space, but you can't because there is no space. But that's a complete, like, I watched a couple documentaries about it. So as far as I'm concerned, my work is done. But every time I watched a timeline of events as they unfolded, it was constantly mentioning radio broadcasts. How there was a radio station that was constantly broadcasting racist messages and trying to turn the people against was it the Tutsis and the oh, I forget the name of the other one. One was tall. One of the two kinds of people tall. So they're broadcasting these messages of hate, you know, because they're big on trying to make you think hate is like some kind of terrible weapon that is the be-all end-all when it just isn't. But the and it's so undefined, ill-defined, and such an umbrella term. It could mean anything they want it to mean, to use as a weapon against you. But anyway, almost every timeline of events talks about this radio station and how they broadcast 24/7 messages of hate, and they would have this saying that they kept chanting or using like a mantra: cut down the tall trees. And what that meant is killed was it the Tutsis? I'm gonna fuck this up, but it was to kill the other people, the other ethnic group who were taller. So they kept repeating, cut down the tall trees. And I'm watching these documentaries, and the guys, you know, they seem fairly intelligent. Everybody seems, you know, but it just shocks me that everyone's missing the radio broadcast aspect of this. And if you were to mention that, people say, oh, no. This radio broadcast that was being listened to morning, noon, and night by these people was very racist. It was hateful messages. It's like, no, there's something else going on in the broadcast. There's something going out via that broadcast. If you look at the speed, the brutality, and the totality of what was accomplished via murder in such a small period of time, that's fucking, it's unbelievable. And you know, you can be as dislike your neighbor as much as you want, be prejudiced and violent, but to make the leap from, oh, I don't like those guys, they're taking all our jobs, to going and killing their babies and mutilating them and taking machetes and just mowing down that many people in that short time because they were broadcasting racist messages. What you're trying to tell us is that the Rwandan people were just like a few centimeters above a fucking animal. That what you're telling me is Rwandan people are not really people, they're beasts who can easily be pushed into a direction of murder. Is that what you're saying? Because if that's what you're saying, then we have to be wary of a lot of Africans in general. I mean, what you're telling us is that these aren't people that can be trusted to wear pants and have windows. I don't believe that's true. I see, you know, Africans in pants all the time. But what you're trying to sell is that this racist messaging is what caused them to brutally kill thousands of their neighbors and their kids, and the way they killed them too. So it's my belief that, and it's pretty obvious, that whatever they were broadcasting through those messages was a total glowy, spooky type of thing. They were sending out low-level frequencies. We know that they've been working on this stuff for years, and Rwanda's a great place to have a nice controlled population that you can control. That, I mean, they're not super sophisticated, I will say that. like about them. They are people that, prior to colonization, or not colonization, but yeah, I guess colonization, white people showing up, they were just in tribes, and there was a lot of cannibalism. They weren't like they weren't ready for prime time as far as civilization goes. So there's a lot of superstition, and there still is. Their belief system is I'm not saying they're backwards or whatever, but they're not in line with what you would need to be a part of a functioning society. You couldn't just take them and place them in New Jersey out of the bush there. There would be problems. So, yeah, it's the perfect place to try out evil shit on people that are going to trust you, kind of, I mean, and then what you look at after that is the vaccination. That they began in the 1980s. Everything from yellow fever, measles, big rollouts of jabs. This is in the 80s, okay, before the genocide. Before the genocide, it was up to, what was the number? I'll have to find it and put it on the screen. But a very high number of the population had been jabbed. Now, it's very possible to pass microtransmitters through those means. I think that's what we're seeing now. That's another story. But it's very easy. That could be liquid. In the liquid, you put them in, and these are small pieces of technology that just act as receivers in the brain. So when you broadcast something, they pick it up in their brain, and through that way you can control people. And I think Rwanda was a test. It was a dry run. They had that. It was a test. It was to try out how this would work on a larger population, because this is a relatively controlled area with people who are not going to ask too many questions. And to me, it's very clear that's exactly what happened. They took control of these people and had them annihilate basically half of their countrymen. It's so obvious. It's just so obvious. And that's where you have to think like the veil. A lot of times I talk about, a lot of times I talk about it constantly. The veil coming down, the veil becoming porous, being able to see things that we weren't able to see before. And it goes beyond surface stuff, just like, hey, I never noticed when Michelle Obama was dancing on Ellen that she had a large appendage swinging between her legs. Why didn't I see that before? Well, it's the veil. You didn't notice it. Why didn't I notice when I was doing research in old town halls that it took 2 men to open the field books? That's not natural. That's not normal. Why are they so big? Right in front of me, I didn't notice it. That's the veil. But also what the veil does, it allows you to more clearly see situations like Rwanda by just looking for, I spend like sort of like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours going over the stuff. And I only did that just to, be thorough, because within the first fucking 5 minutes, I'm like, oh, they zapped all these people and they mind controlled them and made them do this. Like I said, the kind of speed, brutality, and totality would be, I'm going to say, impossible to organically create. Impossible. And what it leaves open is that, holy shit, Africans are dangerous. I mean, that's what we're left to consider if they want us to believe this. Do any live near me? You know what I mean? You start to think like that. These are people that can be influenced by racist messages on a radio broadcast to murder children and women and rape them. Like, why do we have them here in society? That's something you have to think about. If that's what they want us to believe. If they want us to believe, if they want us to believe Rwanda was just something that happened due to racist messages, then holy shit, why are they here? Why do we have them here? I mean, are they that dangerous where if they hear a radio broadcast for a certain amount of time, they're gonna machete me to death? I just don't believe that. I just don't believe that. Now, what I do believe is that they're used quite a bit by the farmers. They're used for a lot of different things. Socially reprogramming people and setting up a social situation that has become just untenable. And they don't know. So in a sense, there is like a Rwanda thing that's happening on a much, less obvious scale. But it's happening, you know? And again, like if we're supposed to take that at face value, the story, then
you know what? Why don't you?
We should be terrified of these people. I mean, we should be scared, right? I mean, holy shit. You know? I don't think that's true. The implication is that they're barely above a fucking gorilla or a beast or a, that's the implication. If we're to believe that. Like if you go into Detroit and you start broadcasting hateful messages day and night about just like what did in Rwanda about instead of cut down the trees, dice the white chocolate, and you play that for however amount of time, and they kill all the white people. That's fucking crazy. But that's what they're saying can happen if we're to believe Rwanda. If we're to believe the story of Rwanda, then these people are absolutely a danger to everyone around them. If we believe Rwanda, and I don't, obviously. That's not the case. At least I hope not, because I have a lot of black neighbors. I don't want them coming over and chopping up the white chocolate. But yeah, it's stupid. It's retarded that they want you to believe this. And I'm sure others have come to this conclusion. I don't think I'm the only one that has. I'm sure others have pointed out the ubiquity of the radio broadcasts in almost every detailed timeline of the story, and how they were pertinent to making people murder each other. Radio broadcasts. Words that people say mean stuff. Well, they were calling them cockroaches. Okay, well, if you can influence African people to murder their neighbors with machetes, women and children, then, like, what the fuck? There are African people in my building. You're telling me I could drive the point home 5 more times. I think you understand. We all understand each other here at this point. It's ludicrous. Not the rapper Ludacris, but it would affect Ludacris too, because apparently if you give him enough racist messages, he's going to chop up the white chocolate. Is he alive? I hope I didn't just kill Ludacris. I think he's alive. I'm going to say he's alive. For Christmas, Ludacris is alive. Don't blame the teacher, blame the school.